no one knew her name. She walked through Seoul like a shadow, invisible to the city's elite. And then he saw her, the African woman who would make Korea's richest man fall in love and risk everything for her. Amara had never believed in fairy tales. Life had taught her that love was fragile, and trust even more so. Yet here she was, standing outside a skyscraper in Gangnam, gripping her cleaning supplies like armor. Every evening she watched the city lights flicker through glass towers, pretending she belonged to this world. She didn't. Not yet. Inside the office she cleaned. She moved silently, dusting desks, wiping glass, and arranging papers nobody would notice. Until one night, the billionaire walked in. He didn't announce himself. He didn't stare. He just stopped and stared at her. It was the kind of look that could unravel a person. Curious, sharp, almost hesitant. He was different from the people she had seen in her life, people who judged her before a word escaped her lips. He didn't judge. He observed. And that night, she caught his gaze for longer than a moment. Weeks passed, and their paths began to cross more often. At first, it was small exchanges. A polite thank you, a nod, a quiet smile. Amara kept her distance, wary of anyone who could change her life in a blink. But there was something magnetic about him. His presence drew people in, but he never forced it. Her friends back home would have laughed if they saw her now, cleaning floors in a city that would never know her name, yet somehow she was noticed. By him. Then it happened. One evening, after she finished her shift, he approached her. His voice was calm, almost too calm for the way her heart thumped. "Why do you work so hard?" he asked. Amara froze. She didn't know what to say. She was used to silence. She was used to invisibility. But here he was, asking her a question like her thoughts mattered. And for the first time, someone cared. Days turned into weeks, and their conversations deepened. She learned small pieces of him, the exhaustion behind his laugh, the way he noticed details nobody else did, the quiet ache in his eyes despite all the wealth around him. And he learned about her life, the sacrifices, the struggles, the fire that kept her moving even when the world tried to ignore her. But happiness never comes without shadows. The night she discovered who he really was, she felt her world tilt. He wasn't just any man. He was one of Korea's youngest billionaires, born into wealth, power, and influence. The kind of man who could have any woman, any life, any secret he wanted. Her mind raced. She had grown to care for him. But could a girl like her, from a faraway country, ever fit into his world? Korea was not kind to people like her. African women rarely married into Korean families. Rich men almost never married outsiders. And yet, here she was, standing on the edge of a world she never thought she'd enter. Rumors started circulating. Whispers followed her into the office. People judged her before they even knew her. She overheard conversations. Who does she think she is? She's a distraction. She's not his type. Amara felt the pressure, but the more the city and its elite tried to push her down, the stronger her feelings grew. She knew something no one else seemed to realize. This was more than attraction. This was a connection that defied logic, defied societal rules, and maybe, just maybe, defied fate. Then came the first family dinner. It was formal, cold, and suffocating. His family treated her like she was fragile china, presentable only until they decided she didn't belong. Every smile she offered was forced. Every compliment returned with silence. She could feel their skepticism like a blade. They had money, influence, and tradition on their side. She had courage and a heart that refused to give up. And then, amidst the tension, he reached across the table. A simple touch, light on her hand, but heavy with meaning. A promise that whatever happened, they would face it together. For a moment, the world stopped. Amara realized she wasn't invisible anymore. Not to him, not to the people who mattered. And that realization made her pulse race, made her breath catch, and made every fear she had felt for months dissolve in a single heartbeat. But happiness was only the beginning. The whispers turned into offers, the cold stares into ultimatums. And soon, Amar would be forced to choose between love and safety. Stay until the end to see what Amar did next. Because what happens in Korea's richest family will shock you, and love alone might not be enough to save her. The next few weeks tested Amara like nothing she had ever experienced. Whispers in the office turned into formal warnings from lawyers. The media ran stories questioning her motives. Social media exploded with speculation. Who is this African woman marrying a Korean billionaire? She's using him. She doesn't belong. Amara felt the weight of their eyes on her every move. But for every critic, there was his hand. Every night, after the doors of the skyscraper had locked and the city lights flickered dimly through the windows, he would appear, not with gifts, not with wealth, but with a quiet understanding that no one else offered. "You don't have to do this alone," he whispered one evening as she wiped down his private office. And in that moment, Amara realized what love really meant. It wasn't the fairy tales, the flowers, or the expensive jewelry. It was loyalty. It was risk. It was seeing the person behind all the judgments and choosing them anyway. The tension grew. One evening, the family called her to a meeting in a private room at the billionaire's penthouse. She knew what it was before she entered. Ultimatums. Offers she couldn't refuse. A life designed to push her out. His mother looked at her with eyes that weighed like iron. "You don't belong here," she said softly, the kind of tone that hurt more than shouting ever could. "This family, this empire, it is not for someone like you. You can leave quietly with wealth, or you can stay and fail." Amara's hands trembled slightly, but her gaze stayed firm. "I will stay," she said. The words were simple, but they carried everything she was: courage, defiance, and love. That night, he held her close in their private balcony, the city stretching endlessly below them. "You don't know how dangerous this is," he said. "I could lose everything, my family, my company, even myself, for you." "I don't care," she whispered. "I came here alone. I've survived alone. I can survive anything with you." Their love, once quiet and private, had become a rebellion. Every kiss, every whispered word in the dark, was a victory over those who had doubted her. And every moment reminded her that some love was worth risking everything for. But fate was not done testing them. Rumors escalated into a scandal when a rival company leaked private photos of Amara and him together. Headlines screamed, "African woman threatens Korea's youngest billionaire," and "Dynasty in crisis." She could have run. She could have taken the money, disappeared, and saved herself. But Amara had learned a different lesson. Love without risk was meaningless. She went to the press not to fight them, but to tell her story. Calmly, clearly, boldly. "I am here because I choose to be. I am not a threat. I am a person, and the love between us is real." The world didn't respond kindly at first, but slowly people began to see her not as an outsider, but as someone brave enough to stand for what she believed in. Her courage inspired him. The billionaire, once trapped by family expectation and societal judgment, began to break free from tradition, standing openly for the woman who had changed his life. Weeks turned into months. The tension between the family, the media, and the lovers remained. But Amara and he had found a rhythm, a way to exist in a world that had tried to reject them. Every small victory, the smile he gave her in public, the whisper in private, the quiet understanding that they could face the world together, was a triumph that no wealth or status could buy. And in the end, Amara realized that love wasn't about perfection. It wasn't about being accepted by everyone. It was about being accepted by the one who mattered most, even when the world was against them. They had both risked everything for this connection, and in doing so, they had discovered something few ever do. A love that was stronger than fear, stronger than judgment, and stronger than the world itself. If you thought Amara's courage was inspiring, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell, because her story is only the beginning. There are more secret romances, billion-dollar empires, and forbidden loves waiting to be revealed right here on this channel. Don't miss the next chapter.